In this video, we're going to teach you how to download MyFitnessPal on whatever device you have, set it up, and just add some foods to be able to start counting your calories. Let's move on to the phone, and I have an iPhone here. When we go to the App Store, it'll be different on whatever device you're using. Basically, go to the App Store, type in MyFitnessPal. So straight away it comes up because it's the most popular app. There are other apps that do this, but because we personally and all of the other people following Empower by Eating have been using MyFitnessPal historically, I've personally used it for, I don't even like to guess the amount of years, probably 6 to 7. So it's very popular, it's very, very good. Click open. So here I'm going to sign up with email. I'm going to say, just hit maintain weight, okay? These numbers don't matter because we're going to put the numbers in a minute. I'm going to put active because most of us are. I'm going to put male because I'm male. I'll put my date of birth, okay, 1984. Where do you live? United Kingdom, 5'9". These are all, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, it makes you do it anyway. How much do you weigh? This is just going to be a diary for you. So at the minute, I'm going through the lean muscle phase, which we teach, the lean muscle gain phase, which we teach in level 4, I think we've set it up for. So my weight is currently going up, but that doesn't matter again because it's to me. So I'm going to put my weight in, which is 195 pound at the moment. What's your goal weight? Again, it's going to try and give me a calorie number, so I'm just going to put 195 in again. Not important. Now, moving on to the next bit. What's your email address? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Empower by Eating email address. So I'm just going to put the password in. You can choose your own password, obviously. So I've put the password in. I've made up a username. Click through. Signs up for us. Okay, so everything's good. We're into the next page. So at this point, they ask you if you want them to send you emails. Let's go for an example here. It's given me a calorie goal of 2,920. And I know from following the system, and if you already follow me on social media, you'll know that my calorie goal to stay the same weight is 3,300. So it's got me wrong by 300. Now I know people, it's got them wrong by almost 1,000 calories just for our starting number. So at this point, you just need to take this number with a pinch of salt and completely ignore it and understand it's just an algorithm within MyFitnessPal which has tried to give you a number. If you're watching this in the future, it might be different. So we're in. So the first thing we need to do before anything is set your calorie goal. If we click more, click goals, then we can scroll down and we can go calorie and macronutrient goals. This might change, as the app always does, it updates itself. We then go to calories and we set the number. So as I said, for me personally, it was 3,300. In level 2, we then talk about carbs, fats, proteins, and fiber. So for now, you could just leave it set to whatever it is here. And as you get through level 2, you'll understand what numbers to put here a lot better. So for now, the foundation is calories. So at this point, don't get too overwhelmed by all of these numbers in the app. It's like a skill that you'll learn over time. And do you remember when we talked about the car earlier on? And we said when you get in the car for that first drive with the driving instructor, you'd put the seatbelt on first and learn how to do that if you'd never done it before, and then learn the pedals. This first stage, just putting the calories in and ignoring everything else, is just like that, putting the seatbelt on. So don't worry, this is the basics. We'll do this on every time we add something new to the system. So now I'm going to go back. You'll see it's set to 3,300. So this will be different for every single one of you, whatever number it is that was set with the last video. So I've now got some rice. So what I'm going to do is show you the first thing you can do to add food to the diary. I'm going to go to add food, which you can see there. And in the top right corner, click scan on barcode, and you can see the back of the packet. As you see, it's just scan the barcode. If you wanted to have the whole packet, I would type in 2. Then I'm going to click add. So that's added in the whole packet of rice. Okay. So we've got 388 calories there. It does give you notifications. For example, this food has 1,800 milligrams of sodium. At this point, don't worry about that. We go into that in the higher levels. So we're trying to build the foundations here, don't forget. As you can see, half of the packet here is 125 gram. It says 194 calories per half of the packet. So for now, we're just looking at this 194 number. So the next thing is we can actually search the database. So what we can do is search. We can type in chicken, press search, and it searches the whole database for everything with chicken in it. So this raises one problem because chicken will weigh different whether it's cooked or whether it's uncooked. So at this point, I'm going to type in chicken uncooked and type search. So as you see, there's hundreds and hundreds on there. This is where you need your digital scales. Just a normal set of digital scales like this probably cost you about £10. And remember, this is where we mentioned earlier on about being so obsessed, we're unobsessed. When we start putting foods on here, we'll kind of realise where all the calories are within our diet. Then, especially until you get used to actually weighing foods, we teach a method called the eyeball method. And I think we do that in level 3 or 4, where we talk about how to not use the scales. But in the first stage, it's quite important to put almost everything you eat on the scales, especially for the first few weeks, until you develop the skill to understand how much weight is in different foods. And that's where you can become more flexible and more relaxed with it. And then we bring in the ability to eat out and kind of guess the calories you're eating as well. But in the beginning stages, especially if you've never done this, definitely weigh everything. I happen to prefer gram, so it's up to you. You can use cups and things like that, but you have to search the database for it. Let's presume I take my chicken, which is uncooked, because I typed in uncooked, and I type in 100 gram. I would then, for example, put a bowl on the scales and put the chicken inside the bowl and go, okay, it weighs 100 gram, and you know the number. So if you had 2 people, of course, you would just double the amount of chicken. So you would put 200 grams of chicken on the scales, but then you'd divide it by 2. If you have a family of 4, for example, you would put 400 grams of chicken breast on the scales and divide by 4, so you've got 100 gram each. So that's a method you can use, and we teach a lot more about that later on. Now, what we have to do here is, because the database can be full of people who have uploaded the food themselves, like I could do it, or you could upload your own food. We teach that later on in the levels, by the way. What you can do here is, I've just typed in 100 gram. I'm going to click add. Now, what you can do is you can go over to Google and quickly check the calories. Google will tell us whether it's got the right number in it or not. So here I am in Google, just typing in a chicken uncooked. So I found a website. There's a couple like this. Google actually sometimes does it. Chicken happens to be a difficult one because it varies. So as we see here, for 100 gram, I just typed in 100 gram here, telling me 110 calories. So for level 1, that's the most important part, is to make sure the calories are about right. So what I'm going to do then is just go back to MyFitnessPal and just check them numbers are pretty close. 115, 5 calories out, not bad, I'm happy with that. That might happen a few times with various foods that you have to double check on Google. So now we've added 2 food items, and it's simple as that. So what happens now is it adds up at the top of the screen. It tells me the food I've eaten for the day happens to be 503 calories with these 2 items of food. It will try to get you to add exercise and things like that, and as we spoke earlier on, it's about being consistent. So you just need to not add your exercise in here and just concentrate on food. And then when we get to level 2, we talk about what activity you might be doing that might affect the calories you're consuming. So there we have it, a quick lesson on level 1 on how to add calories into MyFitnessPal. So don't forget that this is kind of a skill that will need learning over time. In the beginning, it might take you 20 minutes per day. I understand that might be quite tedious. I know when I first started doing it, I was using actually a spreadsheet on my computer, which was very, very tedious. Now we've got technology on our side and we need to use that. So it might take 20 minutes. But there's many psychological books telling us that if you stick to a new habit, within about 5 days, it's probably going to become easier. So the first 5 days might be 20 minutes. The second 5 days might be 10 minutes. And the next 5 days might be 5 minutes. Now, most people on average spend about 5 minutes per day on the app. You can tell that within the settings on the phone. So 5 minutes per day for your health, not too bad, hey? So I look forward to seeing you in level 2. And well done for getting through level 1 and kind of breaking yourself free from the other diets which might have confused you in the past.